Anne-Marie, thank you. So right now, more than 500 million people around the world have diabetes. Most have type 2 diabetes, and that number is expected to double by the year 2050. Here in this country, in the next 10 years, Diabetes Canada says there will be 5 million people with either type 1 or type 2. Today marks World Diabetes Day. We have Dr. Danielle Martin here to explain what's driving the dramatic increase in people being diagnosed with the disease. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So most of the numbers I just listed for our viewers are people with type 2 diabetes. What is the difference between type 1 and type 2?
Right, well, both relate to insulin, but in people with type 1 diabetes, which is usually diagnosed most often in childhood, it's about an inability to produce insulin, and so those people need to take insulin for life. Whereas type 2 diabetes is the more common one that we tend to be aware of, often linked to family history, but also to lifestyle factors, to obesity, and it's the one where people will often not always be able to manage with oral medication, with pills, although sometimes they require insulin as well.
Why are we seeing an increase in the number of people with type 2?
You know, the same reasons that we're seeing an increase in obesity and heart disease, you know, this is a big social shift. We tend to focus often on individual behaviors, but the truth is that, you know, our whole economy has shifted from more of a manufacturing to more of a service economy. People tend to have easy access to inexpensive but highly processed, highly caloric foods. We're moving less, we're walking less. All of these things are linked to increased prevalence of diabetes. And of course, we're also checking more. And so, you know, the more people we screen and the more testing we do, the more diabetes and pre-diabetes we discover. And so these are not just individual things, but they're big social trends that we're seeing all over the world.
And I was just asking you off camera, like, can I just call my doctor and ask for a test?
Absolutely. So, you know, people in adulthood, certainly by the time we get to our 40s and 50s, we should be getting screened pretty regularly. And for people who have a family history, if a parent or a sibling with diabetes, type 2 diabetes, it's important to be screened sooner. And so that's definitely a conversation to have with your family doctor. It's a simple blood test. And often we can identify that a person's blood sugar is starting to creep up before they truly have the diagnosis of diabetes, and we can intervene and prevent that blood sugar from getting into the diabetic range through simple lifestyle interventions. Simple, but not necessarily easy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about the connection between diabetes and mental illness. The Canadian Journal of Diabetes has found people with depression have a 40 to 60% increased risk of developing diabetes. What is the link between the two?
Well, in fact, it's a bit of a chicken and egg thing. So people with chronic diseases like diabetes face a significant burden in their day-to-day lives, taking care of themselves. There's some stigma associated with many of these chronic diseases. And so, you know, that can be stressful, having to worry about what you're eating and, you know, your numbers, et cetera, can cause significant stress for people. But also, of course, when your mood is low, it's harder to take good care of yourself. And so people who are experiencing depression or other mental illness may find it harder to do the things that they know intellectually would help their diabetes to be better managed or prevent them from developing it. So I think that, you know, that it's a chicken and egg situation, right?
It sounds like, I mean, what can someone do right now to prevent their risk of getting diabetes?
Well, I mean, the first thing is to get checked. And so, you know, making sure that we're all in contact with our family doctor to find out what's the right screening interval for me, should I be tested? And then, of course, the same things that we should do to stay healthy in general. Watch how much processed food we're eating, look for hidden sources of sugar, especially sugary drinks like pop, juice, alcohol, and lots of you know, processed sugary foods that you might find in the freezer aisle at the supermarket or at a fast food joint. Instead, trying to eat more fruits and vegetables. And even when we're overweight, staying active is really important. So, you know, it's protective to move our bodies for half an hour a day, even if we can't achieve the perfect BMI. All of those things can help.
Keep moving. Dr. Danielle Martin, great to have you in studio. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.